So today I am going to teach about Mendelian disorder. So to understand what is Mendelian disorder, we should first understand who is Mendel and what is Mendelism. So who is actually Mendel? Everybody must have known him. He is Gregor Johann Mendel, who is the actual foundation of genetics what we are learning today. So what is actually this genetics is? So when we used to say what? That you are looking like your father, or your father used to say that you are looking like your grandparents. So this is what the process has always been. Like आमे हमरो छुआ मान को आमे कहूँ जे तुम तुम बापा माँ भाई देखाऊच, बापा माँ मैंने कहती तुम तुम जेजे बापा भाई देखाऊच. तो ये जो क्यारेक्टरटा जेनेरेशन पर जेनेरेशन चली आसी सेटा बिकज ऑफ जेनेटिक्स है. तो से जो जेनेटिक्सटा बुझीबा जते आम स्टार्ट होउची सेते बळे ना आछी कार ना मेंडेल करो. व्हाई ही इज नोन एज द फादर ऑफ जेनेटिक्स. सो सीए जते बळे जेनेटिक्स विषय रे जानिबा स्टार्ट करथिले केतेडा जिंस से जेनेटिक्स ऊपर कहिथिले. तो कोन से जिंस गुडा को फर्स्ट जानिबा इंपोर्टेंट. सो मेंडेल प्लांट हाइब्रिडाइजेशन ऊपर केतेडा एक्सपेरिमेंट करी 1866 रे. certain ideas देथिले genetics ऊपर. So what are this idea is? It all started with factors. So first we need to understand what is factor. First, Mendel said that all the characteristics or phenotypes are responsible or are a product of the factors that is present in an individual or inside one individual's body. So factors is nothing but the genes only. During Mendelian period, Mendel didn't knew that there is something like genes and all. So at that time for him, the only thing that existed is factor, which is unknown for him. He said there is something, that something he named it as a factor. There is something which is controlling our characteristic, the way we look, the way we talk, the way we behave, the way our intelligence is, the way our hair color is, the way our eye color is, the way our attitude is. Everything depends on a certain thing that is unknown, and that is factor. That's what Mendel said, and which put forwarded towards his first principle, that is principle of unit factor. So what is this principle of unit factor implies? So according to principle of unit factor, each and every characteristics or every phenotype is a product of certain factors which is present in pair inside each living organism, and that pair of factor is always in a gene pool is always contrasting to each other. That means when we will talk about a character, first is height. So for height, Mendel said if you are considering height as a characteristic, then it has two factors in it. One factor will control tallness, another factor will control the dwarfness. So both the factors comes together towards indicating a particular characteristics. That's what Mendel tried to say in this first principle, principle of unit factor. So the basic of principle of unit factor is each character depends on a pair of contrasting factor, and these factors are present in duplicate in each cell of living beings. Then coming to the second thing, as Mendel have already said that each factor is responsible for a particular phenotype and is shared and is present in pair in a particular organism. So if one factor or one characteristic is represented by two factor, that is factor 1 or factor 2. Suppose if for us characteristic is characteristic is height, then the factor 1 will be capital T, which will be responsible for tall, and factor 2 will be small t. which will be responsible for dwarf. So in his second principle, Mendel said the principle of dominance and recessiveness, in which Mendel said the two factors that put forwarded or that is responsible for a single character is always related in a certain relationship, and that relationship is dominance and recessiveness. What is the meaning of dominance and recessiveness? That means when two factors are present together, one of the factor will express itself, whereas the second factor will always be masked. So the first factor, which is masking the character of second factor, is known as the dominant one, and the second one, which is being masked in the presence of the first one, is known as recessive one. Okay, so the two factor or the two contrasting factor which is responsible for giving certain phenotype or certain characteristics, those two are related in a relationship known as dominance and recessiveness, which is Mendel's second law. Then coming to the third law, what Mendel said, so we all know that we all are sexually reproducing organisms. So when we are considering humans have 46 number of chromosomes which is present in a pair. So when gametes will be formed before fertilization, so gametes will have 23 number of chromosome in it, which is exactly half of the chromosome present in our body. So we are 2n in number. 2n. What is the meaning of 2n here? 2 into 23. That means diploid. We are diploid in number, but when gametes will be produced, it will be haploid in number. So one parent which has 2n number of chromosome, during the production of gamete, it will generate 2 gametes with n number of chromosome. So why this 2n is? As Mendel has already said in the principle of unit factor, that for each characteristic a pair of factor is responsible. That means this factor is always in pair. So during the gamete production, out of the two factor which is responsible for a single characteristic, one of them will move to one gamete and the other one of them will move to another gamete. For cis, again considering the example of height, for cis it is in heterozygote condition with two factor capital T and small t. If this is the parent, then during gamete production, two type of gamete can be produced from this, one with one capital T, another one with only a small t. So this parent is giving rise to two type of gamete, one containing capital T, another one containing small t. So during the process of gamete production, the factors are not being contaminated with each other. That means एठी हमें जोटा क्लियरली देखि पारुछे जे कैपिटल और स्मॉल टी दीटा को दी जन को मध्य मिक्स होनांदी. तो जते बेले गैमेट प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस होचंती, ऑल्दो से मान दी जन जाको एका संगे गोटे पेरेंट रे अछंती आ गोटे कैरेक्टर देखौछंती, बट गैमेट प्रोडक्शन टाइम रे कैपिटल टी अलगा स्मॉल टी अलगा गैमेट को पसुची विदाउट बीइंग कंटामिनेटेड विथ ईच अदर. So this put forwarded towards Mendel's first law. What is that law? The law of segregation. So Mendel's first law was law of segregation. So according to law of segregation, the factors or the pair of factors that is responsible for a particular phenotype or character during the production of gamete will be individually move inside both of the gametes without being contaminated with each other. Then coming to the second thing, as we know, one human don't have a single character, okay, like जड़े मनीष को आम खाली हाइट डिफाइन करें खाली स्किन कलर डिफाइन करें गोटे मनीष को डिफाइन कर कौन कौ हाँ से डेंगा है कि लोकटे अच्छे जार कि हेयर क्वालिटी एमती और जार कि इंटेलिजेंस एमती जार कि आई कलर एमती सो वन ह्यूमन बीइंग कैन बी डिस्क्राइब्ड इन मोर देन वन कैरेक्टर्स यस और नो सो to explain or to describe more than one character there must be more than one factor which is responsible for that characteristics, right? For height there will be a pair of factor, for color skin color there will be another pair of factor, for hair color there will be another pair of factor, for intelligence there will be again another pair of factors. So cell is not about a single pair of factor, cell is about or the genetic material is about multiple pairs of factor which is responsible for multiple characteristics. So what happens for the gamete for production during that time? तो आम एत बड़ जाए जानिले जदि गोटे सेल रे पर्टिकुलर गोटे क्यारेक्टर विषय आम कथा होचे तो टी टी जदि आमर रहिला गोटे सेल रे गैमेट प्रोडक्शन बेले कैपिटल टी जन पाखु गला स्मॉल टी जन पाखु गला बट एटा केबे भी केस नहीं खाली हाइट से तार क्यारेक्टर नथिबो ना हाइट से तो फर्स्ट इज कलर भी थाई पारे what first is definitely there will be certain other characters color हो hair quality हो intelligence हो तो एका संगे more than one pair of factors गोटे particular organism रे रहिबे जेमति कि capital T small t another one I will say capital A small a suppose for skin color तो से टाइम रे कोन होबो ना जते बेले गैमेट प्रोडक्शन होबो ए टाइम रे कोन चेंज हे पारे ना गैमेट प्रोडक्शन टाइम रे केही भी ये गोटे पेयर रहा फैक्टर या गोटे पेयर फैक्टर रहा ये जदि हाइट देखला ये स्किन कलर देखला तो यही समय रे हाइट पाई जो फैक्टर रेस्पॉन्सिबल सी स्किन कलर पाई रेस्पॉन्सिबल फैक्टर सहित केबे भी मिक्स हेबनी तो से माने निज निज इंडिविजुअलिटी को मेंटेन करेंगे इनसाइड आवर सेल ओके सो बाय मेंटेनिंग देयर इंडिविजुअलिटी ड्यूरिंग द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ गैमेट they will assert into that gamete without being interfering with other factors okay so during the production of gamete from this capital T suppose here small t here capital T here small t here again between the skin color genes capital A here small a here capital A here small a here so these four type of gametes will be produced and we can see that the factor for height is independent of factor for skin. So during the process of assortment into a gamete. So the second law of Mendelism describes this phenomena which is law of independent assortment. So Mendelism was put forwarded in 1866 when he first said that there is something which is responsible for the maintenance of the character that something he named as factor. So what is that factor is after many years later Wilhelm Johansen said or coined the term gene. So he said the factor that Mendel mentioned is nothing but the gene. So then when we will summarize the principle of Mendelism what will happen तो मेंडल समराइज करी कौन कही एक्चुअली से प्रथम जिनस कही देयर इज ए यूनिट फैक्टर बा ईच एंड एव्री कैरेक्टरिस्टिक रो बेस रे गोटे फैक्टर थाए जे कि यूनिट थाए ईच एंड एव्री कैरेक्टरिस्टिक रो से फैक्टरटा ईच इंडिविजुअल रो बॉडी रे पेयर रे प्रेजेंट थाए सिंगल हिसाब रे नहीं पेयर रे प्रेजेंट थाए आ जदि आम पूरा पॉपुलेशन रे देखिबा पर्टिकुलर कैरेक्टर को देखेबा पई दीटा कंट्रास्टिंग फैक्टर थांती बा दीटा कंट्रास्टिंग जीन थांती जड़े जदि हाइट अधिक कला जड़े हाइट कम करिवो जड़े जदि गोरा कराउची जीन आउ जड़े कला करेइबो जड़े जदि हेयर लेंथ बढ़ाउची जड़े हेयर लेंथ शॉर्ट करेइबो जड़े जदि इंटेलिजेंट होउची आउ जड़े गध करेइबो तो ईच एंड एव्री कैरेक्टर पई दीटा कंट्रास्टिंग पेयर ऑफ जीन्स अछंती जोटा कि मेंडल फर्स्ट कहले सेकेंड जिनस कौन कहले जदि दीटा को एका संगे रहिले सेल भितर तो जेहेतु सेल रे पेयर ऑफ जीन्स रोची जदि दीटा को एका संगे रोचंती सेल भितर जड़े कौन करे सब बेले आउ जनकर इफेक्ट को मार्क्स करके रखे तो द वन हु इज मास्किंग द इफेक्ट ऑफ सेकेंड वन is known as dominant one. This is the dominant one. It is masking the effect of second one. And the second one, which is masked by the presence of first one, is known as the recessive one. So the pair of factor which is responsible for particular character are always in a relationship, and that relationship is dominance and recessiveness, which is Mendel's second principle. Then he said, when gamete is being produced which is haploid in number, at that time of pair of factor the pair of factor which is present together will be segregated individually without being contaminated during the process of gamete production. This is known as law of segregation. That means two factor without being contaminated will segregate separately into two different gametes. Then the second law is law of independent assortment, where he said when multiple characteristic has been represented by multiple pair of factor, each pair of factor responsible for one characteristic will be assorted independently of another pair of factors which is responsible for another characteristic during the production of gamete, which is law of independent assortment. So all of this, when we put forward or when we analyze all of this together, we call it as Mendelism or Mendelian principle. So Mendel put forwarded all these laws, which is known as Mendelian principle or Mendelism. So what is the Mendelian disorder? We know disorder means which is not in order, that is disorder. Our body, when it is not in order, we will call it as disorder. So Mendelian disorder is a disorder or is a diseased condition in which the inheritance of that disease obeys Mendelian principle. Okay? So what is the definition of Mendelian disorder is? All the definition of Mendelian disorder is all the diseases related to genes that are inherited by obeying Mendelism are known as Mendelian disorder. तो सबुतक डिजीज जो माने कि हमर जीन रिलेटेड हेतिबा दरकार आउ केमिति इनहेरिट होतबे मेंडेलियन प्रिंसिपल व मेंडेलिज्म को ओबे करी इनहेरिट होतबे. These all diseases are known as Mendelian disorders. Okay. So for better understanding, I will take one example which is important for everyone. That one example is thalassemia. So thalassemia, as we know, it's not in a common case in human race, but we all know more or less about thalassemia. So what is this thalassemia is? So what is first thing is thalassemia. Spelling check. As it is an example of Mendelian disorder, definitely it's a Mendelian disorder, but the most important thing is thalassemia is a Mendelian recessive disorder. So what is a Mendelian recessive disorder then? As we all know, just some time before I said that according to Mendelian principle, the two factors that are responsible for a particular characteristic are always related in a relation of dominance and recessive relationship. Okay, one is dominant over second one. So when these two factors are present together, one will show its effect whereas other one will be masked. So what is this recessive one then, which is being masked? That is the recessive one. In the presence of dominant one, which one is masked? That is known as the recessive one. So recessive disorder is the one when what happens, the alone defective gene or the single gene which is defective in the presence of another healthy copy cannot express itself. Okay, so it's a simple thing like if तुम पाखरे दुईटा पेन अच्छी लिखवा पाई तो जदि गोटे पेन खराब ही जाउची we still have another one pen to write the things, so that means हमर लेखाटा हैम्पर होनी. बट जदि हमर दीटा करू दीटा को पेन खराब होची then we can't write. सो ए कंडीशन टाको मैं रिसेसिव कंडीशन बोली कहि परिबा. व्हाई पेन जेकोसी गोटे हेले हमको चली जिवो. तो दीटा पेन थिले दीटा को भले चलले हम जेमति लिखिबा गोटे भले चलले भी हम सेमति ही लिखि परिबा. बट दीटा को खराब हेले जे हमर लिखिबाटा इंपायरमेंट हबो. सो दिस इज अ रिसेसिव कंडीशन. ओके, देन व्हाट इज द डोमिनेंट डिसऑर्डर? देन डोमिनेंट डिसऑर्डर रो एग्जांपल नबा जदि हम कोन कहिबा जेमति कि पेंसिल आ कटर. तो पेंसिल आ कटर कोन जदि पेंसिल भांगुची हमको कटर निहाती दरकार. तो सही टाइम रे कटर और पेंसिल दिजण को ऊपर डिपेंडेंट रहिले. आ जदि हम पाके पेंसिल नाही खाली कटर रही कि भी किछ फायदा नहीं. तो जिते बड़े दीटा को दिजण को ऊपर डिपेंडेंट हेले सेते बड़े हमर डोमिनेंट रिलेशनशिप आसीबो. आ जदि दिजण को ऊपर इंडिपेंडेंट रहिले गोटे खराब हेले आ गोटे हम चळै दे परिबा से कंडीशन टा होचे हमर रिसेसिव डिसऑर्डर कंडीशन. ओके, सो रिसेसिव डिसऑर्डर कंडीशन रे कोन हुए? If one set is diseased, then the other set can compensate for the diseased one. So that means even in a heterozygous condition the disease will not be in full fledged. Only when the diseased gene will be present in a homozygous condition, only at that time disease will occur. So that's why this thalassemia is a Mendelian recessive disorder. So as we all know that thalassemia is actually a blood related disorder. So thalassemia is a blood related disorder giving rise to anemic condition. What is the meaning of anemic condition then? The blood loss condition. So before going to, if it is a blood related disease, before going to detail of thalassemia, we should understand what blood is. We all know that blood have three type of cells: RBC, WBC and platelets. So RBCs are red blood cell. Why red blood cells are red in color? Because of the presence of hemoglobin molecule. Why hemoglobin molecule presence make RBC red? Because in hemoglobin molecule there is a iron molecule as its core, and that iron molecules is responsible for the red color of RBC. So before understanding the pathological condition of thalassemia, we should know a little about blood. So blood has three cells: WBCs or white blood cells, platelets and RBCs or red blood cell. RBCs are red because of hemoglobins. Hemoglobins has two component. One is the heme molecule or heme group, and another one is 4 globin chains, or we can say 2 pair of globin chains. So what this heme group has? A heme group has centrally located iron molecule. This centrally located iron molecules carry oxygen and thereby give the typical red color to RBC. So when we are talking about blood, blood has three cells: WBC, platelet and RBC. RBC has hemoglobin inside it. this hemoglobin has two component, one is the heme group, another one is 4 globin chain, or we can say 2 pair of globin chains. So this heme group has a centrally located iron molecules. So this centrally located iron molecule is responsible for carrying oxygen and also responsible for giving the typical red color to the RBC, because of which RBC looks red in color. So with this we are quite clear about blood and thereby RBCs and thereby hemoglobin. So coming to the pathological condition of thalassemia. And what is the pathological condition of thalassemia is? So thalassemia occurs because of the impaired synthesis of hemoglobin. So once hemoglobin is synthesized less or in an impaired manner, at that time the RBC which contains the hemoglobin will be damaged, because when the RBCs will be severely damaged, we will develop an anemic condition, and that condition is known as thalassemia. So hemoglobin are of 3 types, majorly hemoglobins are of 3 types with 2 different type of chain. So chain 1 and chain 2. So what are the types of hemoglobin then? First one is HbA1, second one is HbA2, and third one is HbF. So HbA1 has as 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain. HbA2 has 2 alpha chain and 2 delta chain, and HbF have 2 alpha chain and 2 gamma chain. So hemoglobin are basically of 3 types. In case of humans, with HbA1 has 2, as I have already said, hemoglobin has 4 globin chains. Out of that 4 globin chains, 2 are alpha and 2 are beta chains. In case of Hb2, out of that 4 globin chains, 2 are alpha and 2 are delta chains. In case of HbF, out of that 4 globin chains, 2 are alpha and 2 are gamma chain. So HbF is nothing but the fetal hemoglobin. When fetus is formed, in their case hemoglobin is in HbF form. So what happens in HbF? They have 4 chain, out of which 2 are alpha and 2 are gamma. So when the fetus is developed into an adult or so on, at that time this gamma chain will be replaced by either delta chain or beta chain. So the hemoglobin will be either of A2 or A1. So HbF is basically of fetal hemoglobin, whereas HbA1 and HbA2 are adult hemoglobins. So HbA1 accounts for 98% of hemoglobin present in our body, whereas Hb2 accounts for only 2% of hemoglobin that is present in our body. So out of these, we can say which one is more dangerous then? The more dangerous one is definitely the problem in synthesis of HbA1. Why? Because 98% of hemoglobin is made up of HbA1 only, or first type of hemoglobin only. If HbA1 synthesis will be hampered, then 98% of our RBC will be damaged, whereas when HbA2 is hampered, only 2% will be damaged. So that's why the major one is HbA1. So what is the condition then? So in the pathological condition, what actually happens, that we have 2 genes. One is in chromosome number 16, another one is in chromosome number 11. Okay. So these 2 genes are basically responsible for the synthesis of hemoglobin. So the chromosome number 16 produces the alpha chain, and the chromosome number 11 produces the beta chain. So depending on that, we can divide thalassemia into 2 types: alpha thalassemia and beta thalassemia. So in case of alpha thalassemia, the genes present in chromosome number 16 will be mutated or changed, because of which alpha chain synthesis will not be proper. That's why alpha thalassemia will occur. When the genes present in chromosome number 11 is hampered, at that time beta chain will not be produced and the second type of thalassemia will occur, and that is known as beta thalassemia. So which one is more dangerous? Definitely the alpha thalassemia one. Why? Because all human hemoglobin has alpha chain in it, whereas only 90% of, not only but 90% of hemoglobin has beta chain in it. So that is why beta thalassemia is less severe as compared to the alpha thalassemia. So as I have already said, it is a recessive disorder. So both the factors or both the gene pair has to be diseased in order to be the disease in a full fledged. If only one of the gene is diseased and another one is good, then thalassemia will not be in a severe condition. Why? Because although the second chromosome is not acting properly, or the second gene is not acting properly, the first gene will sufficiently produce the hemoglobin molecules or the globin molecules, thereby reducing the severity of thalassemia condition. Under that condition, we call it as Cooley's disease. So what is this Cooley's disease then? The heterozygote or the heterozygous condition of thalassemia is known as Cooley's disease, or otherwise known as thalassemia minor, where one pair is healthy, one set is healthy or one gene is healthy and another gene is diseased. That means if A is responsible for thalassemia, then AT genes is the thalassemia responsible gene. So this is the heterozygote condition and this is the homozygous condition for the thalassemia gene. So this will give rise to the thalassemia major and this will give rise to thalassemia minor. Why? One healthy copy is here to produce healthy phenotype, whereas both the copy are diseased in this condition. So to summarize thalassemia, I would say thalassemia is a blood related recessive Mendelian disorder which takes place because of the impaired synthesis of hemoglobin. Hemoglobins is of three types: HbA1, HbA2 and HbF. HbF is the fetal hemoglobin, whereas in adults we have two types of hemoglobin, HbA1 and HbA2. Both HbA1 and HbA2 have two alpha chains in them, and HbA1 has two beta chain, whereas HbA2 has two delta chain in it. So we have two type of condition depending on how much number of factors has been damaged in it. If both the genes has been damaged or both the genes have been impaired, then at that condition the thalassemia will be worsened or the thalassemia will be in its fullest form. That we call as thalassemia major. When only one of the gene is mutated, then the other one will be there to compensate it. Then at that time thalassemia will be less severe. We call it as Cooley's disease or thalassemia minor. Again, depending upon which globin chain is affected, if alpha globin chain is affected, at that time we call it as alpha thalassemia. If beta globin chain is affected, at that time we call it as beta thalassemia. So this is all about thalassemia. When we will take an example of analysis, we can see if suppose one example I will take, that the mother is thalassemia with two thalassemia related genes and the father is non-thalassemia or a healthy one. At that time mother will have gametes with both the diseased gene, whereas father will have gametes with 2 healthy copy of it. So during the production of offspring, all the population or all the offsprings will have Cooley's disease. Why? They all are heterozygote in condition. Okay. This is just one example of analysis. So all the Mendelian disorders, as they obey Mendelian principles, they can be traced back by using pedigree analysis. Pedigree analysis is nothing but the family tree analysis. That means when you are going to hospital with a Mendelian disorder, they will ask you about if your parents have the same disorder or not, your grandparents have the same disorder or not, your maternal grandparents have that disorder or your paternal grandparents have that disorder. So these are what we call as family tree analysis or the pedigree analysis. So Mendelian disorder, being the simplest form of genetic disorder or gene related disorder, is easy to trace back using pedigree. So this is all about thalassemia. The second example is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is also again a Mendelian recessive disorder and a blood related disorder. However, the pathological condition varies in case of sickle cell anemia as compared to the thalassemia. In case of thalassemia, hemoglobin globin chains are not synthesized properly, whereas in case of sickle cell anemia, out of the all chains of hemoglobin which can be present like alpha chain, beta chain, delta chain, the beta chain, that is, as we know, proteins are produced of amino acids. So in beta chain, one of the amino acid is replaced by another one.